The RTX 4090 is just insanely built. Welcome to the Product Review Hub. The RTX 4090 graphics card has the potential to be the most power-hungry PC component ever. How? Let's see what we can find out. While we're still waiting for Nvidia to deliver the RTX 3090 Ti graphics card that it unveiled during CES 2022, some reports are beginning to surface that suggested a release date for the card is imminent. And as of right now, it appears like the RTX 4090 may be one of the most power-hungry graphics card ever created by Nvidia. At Grayman55 and at Copite7Kimmy, two well-known Twitter hardware leakers are responsible for these disclosures. The former indicates that Lovelace, the architecture that will power Nvidia's next-generation graphics cards, will be available in September 2022 and will have a TGP of up to 850 watts. At Copite7Kimmy responded to this by stating that this is only a rumor and that they have heard that the RTX 4090 can produce up to 800 watts instead. However, regardless of whether the next generation flagship continues 800 watts or 850 watts, the result will be a graphics card that is exceedingly power demanding. Now, September 2022 is still 7 months away at this time, but this is when we should expect to start hearing juicy rumors about Nvidia's next-generation graphics cards, which should be announced in the coming months. The key is to remember to take anything you hear with a huge grain of salt at this point in the game. Nothing official has been announced by Nvidia, and it will most likely be some time before we hear anything concrete from the company. Consider the following: how much power do you have? It should go without saying that a TGP of 850 watt for a single piece of hardware is an incredibly high standard to achieve. In terms of power consumption, the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3090 is currently the most power-hungry consumer GPU, although even that graphics card has a TGP of only 350 watts. If the RTX 4090 does indeed have such a high power need, it would necessitate the purchase of an extremely large power supply. In order to properly power the RTX 3090, Nvidia recommended a PC power supply of at least 750 watts, and that's with a 350 watt TGP. The power budget of the RTX 4090 has been increased to 850 watts, and it is likely that a large 1200 watt power supply or more will be required to even run the card. That's a much more powerful supply than the one I use in my lab. For this reason, the folks over at WCCF Tech believe that the new cards will be using PCIe 5.0 in order to drive that much power, and they have even released screenshots of potential power connections that might give up to 600 watts per cable to the graphics processor. This has not yet been confirmed to be true, and if it were, expecting that to be used to operate a new graphics card would be troublesome to say the least. The situation reminds me of the months leading up to the launch of the RTX 3080, when everyone was concerned that they would be required to change their power supplies in order to upgrade their graphics cards. That notion was eventually dispelled when Nvidia introduced an adapter for its novel new power connector, and every other aftermarket GPU maker chose not to include one as well. I honestly believe that Nvidia will not develop a graphics card with such a high power requirement in the near future. The company would be alienating thousands of consumers who already have power supplies in their homes and businesses. Not to mention that it would have a significant negative impact on the environment, as not only would more graphics cards be manufactured, but it would also generate a significant amount of waste in the form of used power supplies, as well as significantly increasing the amount of electricity that gaming PCs consume. In addition, there will be a large number of PC gamers who will want to use the latest graphics cards, but will be unable to do so since they'll be unable to use something that is only based on PCIe 5.0 technology. After all, the only platform on which this is supported is Intel Alder Lake, which further restricts the market for these graphics cards to the platform. The Nvidia RTX 4090 is already being tested, and it is expected to weigh greater than 2 kgs. The next generation of Nvidia graphics cards is now under development and, if all goes well, will be available in a matter of months. Nothing can make you believe anything else or less after witnessing the attempt and try with the RTX 3090 Ti unlocked at 600 watts in the video below. However, there is one additional consideration that must be taken: the new 24GBps GDDR6X memory. Moreover, it's possible that this will make a difference with AMD, much as the RTX 30 did versus the RTX 6000, both positively and negatively. In any event, the RTX 4090 is already in the testing phase of development. The delivery dates are continuously shifting, and we are witnessing this with Intel and their Arc GPUs, which have not yet finished arriving in laptops and have not yet presented the desktop versions, which are experiencing increasing delays without a firm release date in sight. For For Nvidia, the fact that we have yet to see any performance statistics or even sample photographs does not appear to be a miscalculation, as the chip that will power the RTX 4090 is presently being evaluated by the business according to the company. RTX 4090 with 24GB GDDR6X memory for testing purposes from Nvidia. In the first place, there was a rumor going about that it was not confirmed or denied, and it was nothing more than a change in the nomenclature for graphics processing units and their series. It appears that everything will proceed as planned, and that these graphics cards will come from the RTX 40 series rather than the RTX 50 series as previously believed, as seen by the designation of the RTX 4090 rather than the RTX 5090. It is only a little glimpse of what will be revealed in a few months, but it demonstrates that neither Nvidia nor Intel are releasing their performance data, which is a troubling development for both companies. If the testing period has not yet concluded, it's likely that the production ramp will be delayed, with the graphics cards expected to be delivered in the third quarter of this year at the earliest, pushing the entire calendar to the fourth quarter of 2022 at the earliest. There are two noteworthy features about this product that have slipped through the cracks of the internet: the 24GB GDDR6X and the PCB design, as well as the weight of the board. The newly discovered memory and temperature issues. We will almost certainly have to wait to see how the RTX 4090 with its 8102 GPU, which is expected to require a total of 600 watts thanks in part to the new Micron VRAM, performs in terms of power consumption. Despite the fact that this one outperforms all of the previous ones and appears to have a bandwidth of more than TB per second, the high temperature factor appears to necessitate an upgraded PCB from Nvidia, as well as a big heatsink, which may be included in the Founders Edition. It is rumored that the new Nvidia will use no fewer than 3 fans with a backplate for cooling, because the PCB would support memories on both sides in order to provide the optimal power to temperature ratio for the GPU. It's expected that the Founders Edition version of the GPU would weigh more than 2 kilograms, and the design will be triple slot, whilst manufacturers for bespoke models will use 3.5 slot designs, which are full-fledged monsters in their own right. And it is that keeping 600 watts of electricity below 80 degrees Celsius will be difficult, as evidenced by the fact that the PCBs will undoubtedly arrive with a VRAM with up to 28 power phases. If we combine everything that has been said, it appears that prices will not decrease because the technical and electrical level will increase again, Micron's 24GB GDDR6X will not be inexpensive, and the dissipation systems will be more sophisticated, not to mention the cost of the chip itself, which will skyrocket. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to hit like and subscribe to this channel for more.